In this video, I will show you how to recreate the scene where Fern casts her magic to attack the wolf from the Frieren battle. We are going to combine various footage with layering and lighting techniques to create those sharp and stunning energy blasts. This is a very effective way to make your animation look just as professional and polished as the original anime. All the assets and the final After Effects project file are available in the description below for you to download. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support the channel. Now, let's get started. Let's start with the setup for our first shot. I'm using a 24 frames per second comp, about 68 frames long. For this scene, we'll need a simple sky background and the animation frames for Fern. To create that spellcasting glow effect, I'm adding a white solid with a mask around her face. To keep the light soft and subtle, I'll set the feather to 1000 and the expansion to -100. After that, I'll just add some opacity keyframes to create a simple flickering light effect on the character. You can see my settings right here. Now, let's wrap it up in a final comp and see how it looks. For the second shot, we're looking at a 24 frames per second comp with a 2-second duration. First, grab a sky background like this. Since we'll be zooming in, make sure to use a high-res, large-scale image. Next, let's bring in Fern. In the original anime, her design was quite simplified here, but I decided to redraw her with much more detail to make the shot pop. You'll also need a magic circle layer. With the higher the resolution, the better. I have 2 other layers here as well, but we'll get to those later. Now, toggle on the 3D switch for the magic circle, and let's get it into position. I'm setting the X rotation to -85 degrees. To get it spinning, add a keyframe to the Z rotation. I'm going with 1 degree every 5 frames. Then, just drop in a loop out expression so it keeps rotating forever. Time for the effects. Start with fill to get the color right, then add a subtle layer of deep glow and standard glow on top. I'm also using star glow with a preset and tweaking the settings just a bit. Keep layering those glows until you're happy with the intensity. Finally, set the blending mode to screen. Now that's looking great. Now, let's use these pre-made magic line frames for the casting effect. First, I'll apply roughened edges to soften those sharp lines and give them a more organic feel. To get that blue outer glow, I'm using star glow. To save some time, you can just grab the Electric Cross preset and tweak the settings and colors to fit your scene. And let's add a touch of deep glow to make it shine. Next, I'll duplicate the layer, remove the star glow, and play around with the roughen edges settings to create this grainy, particle-like border. It's the same process for the gathering magic particles. Just bring in the pre-prepared frames, add some star glow, fine-tune the settings, and set the blending mode to screen. Next, you'll need to have your beam frames ready just like this. First, I'm going to scale up the background to fit the shot better. Then you can select both the character and background layers to split them at frame 34 and move them up here. For the background, I'll add 2 scale keyframes for a zoom effect. Remember to hit F9 and tweak the graph to smooth out the motion. Now for the character, we'll apply the same logic by keyframing the position and scale. Make sure to set your points at frames 34 and 39, then finish it off at frame 48 to stay in sync with the background. Aligning these timestamps is key to making the character movement feel natural and smooth. That's looking pretty good. Go ahead and duplicate the previous magic circle layer and repeat the process. One thing I almost forgot is that you should speed this up 4 times to match the intensity of the scene. I've already fine-tuned the settings so you can just follow along with what I have here. For the energy beam, we'll stick to the same workflow as the magic lines. Start with roughen edges for the border. Duplicate the layer and make sure to lock the original one. On this second layer, I'll rename it and use distance gradation for a soft outer glow at 80% opacity. Duplicate it one more time and adjust the roughen edges to bring back those magic particles. I noticed a small glitch at the bottom, so I'm going to fix that by stretching the vertical scale to cover it up. Finally, add a white solid and draw a mask. Since this is only going to last for a short duration, of course you'll want to drag that timeline bar in to keep it nice and brief. Set the feather to 500 and expansion to -60. Keyframe the opacity to create a quick flash that fades out perfectly. Give everything a final check and add your transitions while polishing the overall look to make it perfect. All right, let's see the final result. Finally, we have the third scene, which is only about 1.5 seconds long. You'll still need a sky background layer like this. However, to make the effects work later, we're gonna need an extra layer of the mountain that has been masked out. Next in line is the monster on top, plus Frieren and Stark on the right side of the frame. Other layers like smoke and magic streaks are also ready to go. I also prepared 2 book layers to hide a small glitch on the monster, but it's not a big deal, so you can just skip that part. Now, I'm going to adjust the color tone for the background first. I'll start with curves to tweak the lighting, then use hue to get the colors just right. We'll do the same for the monster layer using curves and hue again. However, at this point, I am going to duplicate a second layer and apply the fill effect to add a soft blue tint. Set the blending mode to overlay and drop the opacity to around 60%, so the colors blend perfectly with the rest of the scene. For the smoke, you should use roughen edges to soften the borders. You can also add some blur to make it look more natural, and remember to bring the opacity down to about 60 or 80% to make it look softer. Moving on to the magic streaks, start by adding deep glow for a subtle outer glow. Then use fill and hue to match the original color tone. Duplicate the layer once more, then remove the fill effect and set the blending mode to screen to get this result. If you want to save time, instead of drawing every frame, you can create these magic streaks using CC Rainfall on a black solid. This is actually a rain effect often used in anime. You can follow my specific settings or adjust them as you like. After that, add deep glow and then use star glow for that blue glow. To keep it from being too harsh, go into the individual length settings and turn those values down. Switch the blending mode to screen and rotate it 180 degrees. Next, go to time stretch and increase the value by about 8 times to slow it down. Open the scale and crank the Y value up to 1,500, then you can go back and fine-tune the star glow settings. On the background layer, I'll add curves and drop the brightness way down. I'm setting an opacity keyframe to fade it to 0 to create a darkening sky effect. Now go ahead and add all the necessary frames and create a final comp so we can start adding the shake effect to the scene. First, we will need to apply the motion tile effect to fix any empty edges on the screen that appear during the shaking. After that, you just need to use the wiggle expression on the position property to create those natural vibrations for the entire shot. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.